And welcome to the Marcus and Mike Show. I am Mike. The man over here to my left is Marcus. Marcus, how you doing on this fine Friday afternoon?
Pretty good, pretty good. I mean, man, what a game last night. I mean, wow, this is the stuff legends are made of right here. I mean, this is where you make your claim to fame, your name. This is it right here. Man, and it was amazing to watch last night. And I already knew I know the player that we're about to talk about. I already knew all his talents. I mean, nothing shocked me at all last night. I think it's like shocking a lot of people around the world, but or around the country, whatever. But it didn't shock me last night.
Well, let's go ahead and jump right into it. If you guys missed the game last night, the Raptors did win. What was the score? It was 105 to 99.
Yeah.
I missed the first 30 so minutes of the game. I tuned in with 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and I believe it was like 89 to 82. And I'm like, man, my score is right there on par. And then all of a sudden, it was an offensive explosion. It was really quite remarkable to watch that last 5 to 6 minutes of the basketball game. So let's just start right there, Marcus. What are your what is your takeaway from that game last night?
Man, Kawhi Leonard is simply amazing. He's playing in his fifth conference finals, by the way, and he's only 27 years old. He's about to go to his third NBA finals in the decade. The dude's guarding the best player of probably the MVP of the league, or at least going to be second in voting in the MVP of the league, a guy that's 6'10", and is just a monster to guard. And Kawhi Leonard is holding him to like 20% shooting, something ridiculous in the past couple of games. And then he's taking it upon himself to be the best player offensively. I knew he had those capabilities. I knew he could do that, and he's just proving that again to the world that he's the best player in the NBA. And it's just unreal. The Bucks were 33-0 when leading after three quarters.
Yes.
They hadn't lost three in a row all year, and there they go running into that man, Kawhi Leonard, kind of like a LeBron James type man that's just not gonna lose, unless of course LeBron's lost. Obviously, he lost to superior talent.
Right.
He's lost to people that a collection of all stars when he's lost. But man, it's something amazing to watch. I mean, Toronto hit 18 3-pointers. Okay, so man, doing that right there is unbelievable. And then they didn't get any 3-pointers from Danny Green, which is amazing. They were 25 of 31 in free throws. So combine that with the 18 with the 18 3-pointers, and then they only had 6 turnovers offensively. I think 4 came in the first quarter. So Toronto was pretty much flawless from the how they played from the second quarter on. It's pretty amazing. I mean, the only reason Milwaukee was in it is because they were at home. The home crowd gets you going. If this was in Toronto, this might have been a blowout. It's amazing to watch. Nick Nurse is coming alive too. He's putting that wall around the Greek Freak, and he's stopping the Bucks transition. Coach Bud wants to get out there. The Milwaukee coach wants run,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're running right into a wall. They're getting back on. Toronto's getting back on defense, and when you stop the Milwaukee Bucks transition offense, they become somewhat of an average team offensively if they're not hitting threes. It's an easy offense to figure out. There is some movement. It's a lot more movement than the Rockets, but it's still basically somewhat similar. And the playoffs have a way of exposing you, Michael. Just look at what happened with Ben Simmons. He couldn't shoot, right? So there's a couple of games where Ben Simmons isn't running around being Magic Johnson and having playing like it's Rucker Park. He gets exposed. He can't shoot. And there was a couple of games where Ben Simmons went 5 of 8, 5 of 6 or 5 of 9 or whatever. He was hardly shooting the ball. He didn't even want to shoot the ball. So Coach Brown took the ball out of Simmons' hands. If he can't shoot, and he put it more in Jimmy Butler's hands and Embiid's hands, and that's why that thing went 7. The Greek Freak is getting exposed right now. You're finding out as great as the Greek Freak is, he's not on LeBron James' level. He is not on Kawhi Leonard's level. And so that they're getting exposed right now. Coach Bud's got to figure it out. They need players to play better. That's all there is to it. But it looks like they're about to get beat here. And we said the winner of Game 5. I said the winner of Game 5 needs to go ahead and wrap this thing up, to hurry up and get a sufficient amount of rest. And if Toronto wraps this up on Saturday, I mean, they'll get like 5 days rest. It isn't that bad, even though it's not as good as the Warriors getting 9 or 10 days rest or whatever it is. But Toronto needs to go ahead and wrap this thing up and get ready, get 5 days rest and get ready for the Warriors.
Yeah, Everything that you said there is right there on point. The one thing I want to add though is the Greek Freak is not playing bad. I mean, he's still averaging 22, 23 points per game
Yes.
this series, and he's still leading that team. But there's just that there is no help
Right.
on the back
Yes.
side of that, I should say.
Yeah.
Eric Bledsoe looks like he led the way secondary in points with just 20 points. So
Right.
just scoring 99 points in a game, it's pretty good. But when you're leading two scores or only scoring 20 and 24 points, I say that with a very respectable term. It's just like me and just
Yeah.
the whole team collectively either needs to score 5 more points for each starter, or the Greek Freak,
Yeah.
or Eric Bledsoe, or even I don't know,
Yeah. Mirotic was
Lopez, or
gone.
somebody needs to step up even more.
I have never seen. I thought Mirotic just left the series. I think he's on vacation.
Yeah,
Last night, I mean, what did he do last night?
MIA.
Did nothing. It's crazy how you go MIA in the biggest game of the year.
Yeah, he had 9 minutes with 0 points.
This is Mirotic we're talking about, right? The guy hits a bunch of threes in the regular season and in the
Yep.
playoffs so far.
Correct.
It's a combination of him disappearing and Toronto defense. And one thing, yeah, you know what, Giannis, he's trying his butt off, man, but his limitations are there. And like I said, you get exposed in the playoffs. And Giannis is weird. He's turning into Shaquille O'Neal at the foul line.
Yeah, I don't get that at all. Like, is the pressure getting to him? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you got to at least be 75%, man. He's going up there, and he's in the 60s or 50s now. So that's a little weird. And there's a reason. I don't know if you knew this, stat, but Kawhi Leonard has the best winning percentage all time of any player, past or present. And that's not by accident. That's not some coincidence.
That's in playoffs, right?
No, that's of all time.
Oh, that's all time.
Yeah, he wins 79%.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he wins 79% of his games. And to tell you who else is on the list, I remember looking at it the other day. Larry Bird is like second, and Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, they're all there. Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker. That's like the top 10. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Steve Curry's on there, but Kawhi Leonard has the greatest winning percentage of all time.
That's a fun fact. I had no idea. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not by accident. The dude is a beast, and it's crazy. As good as Toronto is defensively, it was awesome. My son was pointing this out to me. You see Greek Freak spin in the lane, and you see Siakam block his shot, and you see Kawhi alter it. This is one of the only teams that can do this to Giannis now.
Yeah.
Let's just say, hypothetical, Giannis was playing Houston, the Rockets. Giannis would have 40 and 15 every game. There's nobody in the way of the Rockets to stop Giannis. You know what I mean? It's just Giannis is running into that team. The Toronto Raptors, and you weren't with me then, but we didn't have the show, but I picked the Toronto Raptors to win the NBA championship and beat the Golden State Warriors in October. And this is the Toronto team I thought would be there. As soon as they made that trade to get Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green, and Danny Green was actually the key to that, why I thought that, because Danny Green can make things tough on opposing offensive players like Klay Thompson. He's going to make Kevin Durant work. And Danny Green hardly didn't even do anything last night. It was amazing. Yeah. They're doing this without him. And then partly I picked Toronto to win the title was they would put the five best defensive players out there, and they would get just enough offense to win the championship. Because you just can't have a bunch of defensive players. You got to put the ball in the basket, and they have that. And I had that in mind. I had OG Anunoby, who left with the appendicitis. If he comes back for the finals, they'll have too many defenders for Golden State. I hope that he comes back, but this is the reason I picked Toronto to win the championship. I picked the Bucks in 7 this series because I thought everybody win their home games. Because I didn't factor in the Bucks being this good. I know Coach Bud would implement his system, and Bucks would be good. I didn't think they'd be the best team in the NBA good. So I went ahead and picked the Bucks in 7 because they had home court. But man, at the beginning of the year, I had Toronto winning the whole thing. And man, how important was that Toronto winning the last game? I think the last game of the regular season to get home court over the Warriors. So the regular season doesn't matter. Man, Toronto loses one less game in the regular season, and the Warriors win one more game. Or Toronto, that's all they have to do is win one less game, and they're going to have to start out at Oracle. They won that final game, Toronto. They won just enough games to have home court advantage over the Warriors, and that's huge. I mean, that's incredible.
That is very big. And like many people, myself included, kind of counted the Raptors out after taking that 2-0 series L column before going back to uh, to Toronto to win those two games and then win the fifth one this past night. But looking at these scores, like, I mean, they only lost by 8 points in the first game, so it was a very that was a very competitive, very very close game. And then game two, they just did not show up. Game three, it was a close battle. They won that game, like, obviously, and then they destroyed the Bucks in game four.
Yeah.
They handled the Bucks in game five. So I see them very well winning game six in Toronto on Saturday night because like they have pretty much controlled this whole series except for that one game when they just did not mentally show up. And like thinking about it, they only lost by 15 points, or sorry, 12 points by not showing up. So if they just show up and play the way they've been playing all series, this game will be over in 6 games.
Yeah.
And the Bucks will be like, what happened? Well, what happened is Toronto is just a better team like at this point in time.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you're 100% right. If they beat Toronto 4 in a row, I mean, that's big time right there.
Yeah.
It seems like Coach Nurse is out coaching Coach Bud, right?
Right.
But that being said, I mean, Coach Nurse has Kawhi Leonard, so you know what I mean. So it's he's out coaching
that definitely helps, but he's still putting X's and O's out there, and they're executing and they're buying into the system, into the game plan over and over and over. So it is showing.
It's easy to out coach somebody when your guys don't show up and you have Kawhi Leonard. I mean, it's pretty. Yeah, I mean, I won't go that far. He's just totally out coaching him because when you can put in the fourth quarter, when you can put Kawhi Leonard on Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak, and limit him, if Coach Bud had Kawhi, he'd be winning the series. Let's just be honest. If you flip-flopped Kawhi Leonard and Giannis, say Kawhi played for Milwaukee would win this series. That's just it. They have the better player. It's a bottom line. Out coaching, sure, that's fine. Anybody can mention that. I think I heard a couple of experts mention that, but one coach has Kawhi.
Air quotes experts.
Yeah. I mean, and they're correct to a certain extent, but one coach has Kawhi Leonard, one coach had Michael Jordan, one coach had Tim Duncan, one coach, you know what I mean? So you did the best players win 100%. Series. And real quick, I'm going to piggyback off of what you said yesterday when you were 100% correct. You said Kyle Lowry would have 30 and they would win. Well, look, Kyle Lowry didn't have 30, but man, Kyle Lowry's playing good. He's the reason. He had 17 last night. And they got 38 points from the point guard position. So you were 8 points off. You just didn't know Van Fleet would come through with 21.
Yeah.
But they got 38 points from that position. You said it'd be 30. You were 8 points off. You were right there. If Kawhi Leonard gets that production from Van Fleet, if he gets 30,
just a little bit of help. That's all.
Let me just say this going forward. If he gets if every game versus the Warriors, if he got 15 from Van Fleet and 15 from Kyle Lowry, that combined the point guard position gets 30, which you wanted, they'll give the Warriors a lot of trouble. Getting 38 points from your point guard position was great last night. I mean,
So like we mentioned, Game 6 is Saturday night. I believe it's 8:30 tip-off time, like it's been this whole series. I am picking the Raptors to win this game. I have to go against my series pick from previously. I just think they're playing really, really well. I think the momentum is like on their side, and they need that rest, and they realize that they need the rest. So they're going to give it all Game 6, and it's going to be a 8 to 10 point game. Judging by the scores of the series so far, I'm going to say 105 to 96 will be the final score. This one. Who do you got winning the game on Saturday night?
I agree with you. I mean, Toronto's going to wrap this thing up. I think Milwaukee Bucks are shaking. Their confidence is down right now. The only way Milwaukee wins is if they hit their shots. I mean, it's like a make or miss league, obviously. I mean, no, Toronto should wrap this thing up. Would shock me at all though if Milwaukee won, though. I'm going to keep it real. These are two pretty evenly matched teams. It's just Kawhi's better than Giannis.
Yeah,
and the others for Toronto showed up last night on the road, and it was a big deal. And Milwaukee at home didn't show up. Their others in terms of shooting the basketball, Mirotic and Connaughton, and those guys were Lopez. I mean, I think Lopez had a couple of big buckets, but nowhere near what he had, that 29 points that first game or whatever.
He had 17 points this past
game. Yeah, Lopez did well. He was decent, but I mean, they need more contributions because Giannis is getting exposed to a certain extent. He's not LeBron James. He's not Kawhi Leonard.
No.
He can't score outside the paint. He's having a hard time. He's having a hard time at the free throw line. So I expect that to continue. Um, I think Toronto will win Game 6. I mean, they better win Game 6. They need this 5 days off. They don't. Toronto Raptors or Milwaukee Bucks. Basically Toronto Raptors. They don't need to play Monday. That's ridiculous. Even though they're going to have home court, which is a big deal over the Warriors, but they don't need to play Monday. They need to go ahead and take care of this thing on Saturday. And I think Toronto wins this game. I'm not sure the points. There could be a Toronto blowout. If Milwaukee's lost complete confidence, this could be a blowout Toronto. But if Milwaukee comes back and is really upset about what's going on and want to prove to the world that they have the best record and they want to extend this to 7, this could be a close game. We'll see. Toronto will win, I think, though, Saturday night.
Let me go on record for this right now. If there is a Game 7, I'm picking the Bucks 100% because I think the momentum will fall off the Toronto wagon and jump on the Bucks side of things there, and the Bucks will win 2 games back to back. If it goes Game 7, yes, anything can happen in Game 7. Do not get me wrong there, but I'm picking the Bucks in Game 7. But if there is a Game 7, like obviously,
right? No, and I disagree with you a little bit because. I mean, if it goes 7 and Milwaukee wins in 7, my prediction will be right. But let me just tell you something. I would never count out Kawhi Leonard in a Game 7. Like they have the best player on the court. Like there's no.
I'm not
Kawhi
Leonard him out,
is unbelievable.
I just think the momentum will be on the side of the Bucks, and then they will ride that momentum train into Game 7. But the Raptors are going to end it in Game 6. The score might be close in the end, but it's just going to be a physical domination. You'll see the Bill Snyder on the sideline rubbing the coach's shoulders again, and just hyping up the crowd, just doing his stuff.
Right.
So, but unfortunately, we'll have to see his face 4 times next series.
Oh, Drake!
So,
my God! Yeah, I mean. Dude, I don't mind, I don't mind somebody like that's a fan. He's not a fan too. He's part owner, but do you see any other owners doing that? It's kind of looks stupid, and I don't mind somebody's
Mark Cuban.
Yeah, I don't mind, but Mark Cuban is not on the court. I mean, he's not touching Coach Carlisle and giving him a massage, and you know what I mean. I don't mind. Listen, I don't.
I mind it.
People that pay their ticket.
It's ridiculous. He doesn't need to be past the press box.
No. What I'm saying is I don't mind like giving the people that pay that much money, Drake, whoever, Jack Nicholson, Spike Lee, giving the other players the business. I would be like when you're getting ready to inbound the ball the opposing team, and Drake saying, "Hey, you better not throw his inbound away," like just messing with his head. That's fine.
Yeah,
but when
that's
you're getting out and touching the coach, and you're past the coach's line, and you're like almost on the court with the refs, that's retarded.
Well,
the NBA is going to have to do something about that.
Why don't we be 100% honest here? If it was me or you, we would be escorted out of that place like that.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, he's getting away with it because he's Drake, and I think the team pays him, so he's getting away with it. But it doesn't matter. My point is, it doesn't matter who you are. Steve Ballmer, the LA Clippers owner, he's not walking out on the court and high-fiving Doc Rivers unless it's at the end or you know what I mean? Like it's just stupid. Like, dude, just sit in your seat, talk trash. Get up. You can even talk to the players. That's fine. You pay a lot of money. Just don't start getting to the coach's box. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So that's why I come down on it.
I can see him like getting the marker board. Hey, you need to do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
But whatever. It is what it is. So let's go ahead and transition a little bit. Let's, NFL is right around the corner, whether you guys want to admit it or not. Summer may have just started, but fall is coming fast. And the other day, I'm not going to name the sources because there were 3 or 4 articles that I saw this about, but they're saying 5 reasons why the Kansas City Chiefs will not make the playoffs this season, and I have them winning the division, so they're clearly going to make the playoffs. Marcus, you had them going to the playoffs at like as well, right?
Yes, I mean no, there's no way. I mean. The Kansas City Chiefs, they have Patrick Mahomes, dude. I mean, what is their offense going to fall off in a cliff somewhere?
Well,
I mean,
this is what the experts, as we air quote that word, says the reason why they're not going to make the playoffs. So I want to read these off, and I quickly want you to just say yeah, you agree. No, you don't agree. So,
Right.
I mean, obviously, elaborate a little bit, like we'll have a little bit of
Right.
conversation about back and forth. But the very first one is there have only been 3 teams that have scored 50 plus touchdowns in the season to score to improve that mark the following season. I believe it was a 2007, 9, and 11 Patriots improved that record.
Right.
So basically, what they're saying is the Chiefs' offense will not score as much this next year. Do you do you kind of like, does that hold any value in your eyes?
Well, no, no, it doesn't. I mean, they don't even have to. They don't even have to score as much as they did last year. They could be 30 points under, like for their total points.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. They could still be 12-4 and win the division.
Right.
So no, I mean that may be right. They may not score as many points, depending upon the Tyreek Hill situation. If he gets suspended for 2 games, 4 games, I think it might be a 4-game suspension, just because the owner, this owner likes to make examples out of people. He might make an example out of Tyreek Hill. He might give him 2 or 3 games. He might. But still, that doesn't matter. The Chiefs, the Chiefs will still be explosive offensively. They have the best tight end in football, Kelsey. I mean, I'm big on McCole Hardman, their second round pick out of Georgia. He's going to replace Tyreek Hill there for a few games, and he won't be as big as Tyreek Hill because rookie receivers don't do as well. But Sammy Watkins is huge. I mean, I like Sammy. No, I mean they'll be fine. Even if they don't score as many points, so what? I mean, they're still going to win a whole lot of games, and they have an offense that's just conducive to scoring points. I mean, you'll find that out very quickly.
And we need to understand that some of those stats were padded just a tad bit, like the Rams game for example, that was a 7 or 8 touchdown game. So like that, so that game alone will put you
right
20% towards your goal, the 50 plus touchdown range. So it's, I don't care if we only score 37 times this year as far as the end zone goes. Our defense has gotten a lot better. And that's exactly what we were lacking last year. That's why we had to score so many points last year, because our defense was horrible. And like that was the second point, was the secondary is horrible and our pass rush was horrible. Well, they addressed both of those needs here in the last month by signing the Honey Badger, Clark, the linebacker from the Jets. So
Darren Lee.
Yeah. So does that hold any value? The Chiefs will miss the playoffs because their defense is so horrible.
No, not at all. I mean, you listen. They've improved big time on their linebacking core. Getting a player like Frank Clark, you'll find out how good he is. He's a better player than D Ford. Now, he's making that money. Some people would rather, some Chiefs fans that told me they'd rather keep that money and just have D Ford, but D Ford's gonna make a lot of money too. Frank Clark is a good upgrade, heck of a player. They have Anthony Hitchens from the Cowboys, Damian Wilson, Reggie Ragland. Man, I mean, the list goes on and on. This is the real deal. Alex Okafor, dude, I watched that guy at UT. He gets to the passer. I mean, Alex Okafor is a big deal. And then undrafted free agent Gary Johnson, I love him. Yeah, I watched him at UT as well. They must like UT players over there. These guys are really good. And then their draft of Kalen Saunders in the middle, I like that at defensive tackle, really good player. The Honey Badger. That's a darn good player right there. I mean, I don't see them falling off really defensively at all. I think they're going to be a lot. I mean, obviously they weren't great last year, but they're going to be much improved. Listen, all you have to do for the Chiefs, you just have to get in the middle of the pack, because your offense is so explosive. You don't have to have a top 10 defense to win in this league. You could be Kansas City could go from what maybe they were last year, maybe like 27th or 28th or something. Horrible. But if they go to 16. They could be in the Super Bowl. So we'll see what happens there. But no, I don't see them falling off. Matter of fact, I think they got better defensively with who they signed and their draft picks and the players I just mentioned.
And we got a new defensive coordinator just like as well.
Sure.
He is no longer implementing the bend don't break philosophy. We're going to be an in your nose, hard nose defense this year.
And let me tell you something. Frank Clark attacks. He attacks the run just like he attacks the pass. And Alex Okafor, you watch I'm going to make a prediction. I think Okafor will get 10 sacks this year. And so I'm not worried about. Hey, listen, Damian Wilson and Anthony Hitchens and Gary Johnson and Reggie Ragland, you'll be fine in the middle. I'm going to tell you right now. Those
I'm not
players
worried
can
about it
play.
at all anymore.
Yeah, not worried about it. So I disagree. Listen, the only thing that's holding over the Chiefs' head is this Tyreek Hill situation.
Yeah.
And Tyreek Hill may not get any games suspended. Let's just hope that. But it's possible. Even if he gets 4, I mean, they can hold down the ship. They could go 2-2 or whatever. I mean, they're not going to. 4 games is nothing. Dallas showed you they dropped the ball on that a couple of years ago with having Zeke suspended. It kind of messed up Dak Prescott, in my opinion.
Should have just let him get suspended and call it a day.
You should have just said, because this commissioner Roger Goodell, he was after it. I mean, I knew they were going to suspend Zeke. I mean, it kept on. It was like another game, another game. When is he going to be suspended?
Right.
You should have just if you would have just said, okay, we'll take the punishment and had Zeke just sit out the first 6 games and then had him for the rest of the 10, they would have made the playoffs in Dak's second year. But no, you played that game up. Then he's going to be suspended again, and so he got suspended in the middle of the season, and it messed him up. Just take care of it those first 6 games, and then, or at least make good. I would have even said, okay, get 1-0. I think they started out with the Giants or something last year. They went 1-0. Then go ahead and make sure you get 1-0, and then go ahead and let the 6-game suspension come on, and then he'll be ready to go for Thanksgiving. Like he'll be, the first 6 games. Cowboys dropped the ball on that as an organization. They should have had him suspended either the first 6, the first 7 games. So let's hope that this Tyreek Hill situation gets mended, and we'll see what's going on with it. We should. I mean, and then NFL takes so long with this stuff, man. Like, dude, haven't you reviewed enough stuff? I mean, really? Like, what are you doing? Is he out on the corner selling drugs
they
or something?
They are looking for some more dirt somewhere.
Yeah, come on now. Let's get this thing. Let's wrap it up so we don't leave the Chiefs in limbo as an organization. Was he going to be suspended or not at all?
Right.
So I hate that they leave us in limbo like that. It's just dumb. So, it's.
I mean, like judging by the history, we may not even find out if he's suspended till week 6 or 7. So,
right.
So at that point, like you got to do what you have to have to do. But
real quick, and check this out. I forgot you got Emmanuel Ogbah too. That's a heck of a pass rusher.
Right.
Kid out of Oklahoma State who I've seen him play a bunch. Emmanuel Ogbah gets to the man. Frank Clark, Emmanuel Ogbah, and Alex Okafor. Okay, I'll say it right here. You can write this down. We'll at least have 30 sacks between those 3.
And that is a crazy amount of sacks. And so
yes, it is. I think Clark gets 12. I think Ogbah gets 8, and I think Okafor gets 10.
There we go. You heard it here first, guys.
Yeah.
30 sacks between those 3. So that addresses the defense stinks. That addresses the TD situation. The situation that you already kind of hit on as well. Kansas City is cheap. They don't like to pay their guys. Well,
right.
That may have been in the past, but look at that Clark contract. We are paying that man a lot of money to rush the passer. So I think the Chiefs are finally in that mode where they say, "Oh, we got to pay our guys." Last year, they even talked about Patrick Mahomes signing him to a $250 million contract over the next 6 or 7 years, or so. It was something. Like he was going to be the highest paid quarterback in the league. So I'm just going to skim over that because the Chiefs being cheap, that's in the past. The fourth topic that they wrote down is they do not have a number 1 tailback. Since they cut Kareem Hunt, it is a running back by committee. Personally, I think this might be the weakest spot on the team, but we have a 3-headed monster back there that can carry this team. They carried it through 6 games this past season. So what are your thoughts on that? Do you really concerned?
No, I don't. Listen, you can have a running back committee when you have an explosive passing game like they have. You don't need an Ezekiel Elliott or Todd Gurley. Would it help? Sure. But it doesn't. It's not any kind of make or break thing where, you're going to lose a couple of games off the running back. No, Damian Williams and those boys are fine. They'll be fine. Not really worried about that. The offensive line now it's not a great offensive line now, but it's not weak either. It's a good offensive line. I like Cameron Irving. I like Tardif. I like Fisher. Those are three adequate offensive linemen that get the job done. So it's up to those boys up front to protecting Patrick Mahomes and that running back guy by committee that you're talking about. I don't see anything wrong there. Now, would it help in the future for the Kansas City Chiefs maybe to, hey, next year's draft, they get the top running back. Say they pick 28th again, and that guy falls like Howard fell to the Raiders at 24, the kid out of Alabama. Chiefs could be in the market for a free agent running back soon, next year to really help Patrick Mahomes and take a little pressure off of him. May not happen this year, but in future years. Running back to me is not a big deal unless it's like Ezekiel Elliott or, the Todd Gurley. And then you even saw Todd Gurley. They didn't even need him to beat the Cowboys and get to the Super Bowl.
Everybody is replaceable.
Yeah, just about. I mean, really.
Let's face it.
I mean, Le'Veon Bell is getting that money there in the Jets, and I think that's a good move for the Jets. 4 years, $52 million, because they have a young quarterback in Sam Darnold. Hey, let Le'Veon Bell take some of that pressure off Darnold, and you can throw it to Le'Veon Bell in the passing game. That's why, getting back to the Cowboys, I'm excited about Pollard, because Pollard is similar to Le'Veon Bell in the passing game. So just similar, not running, but similar to Le'Veon Bell in the passing game, Pollard for the Cowboys. So listen, the Kansas City Chiefs will be just fine. One of these days in the offseason or something, they'll be in the market maybe for a big running back. Maybe not. Maybe they like doing it by committee. But we'll see what happens. That is not a point of weakness for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, and just to add to your point there, we have always had a two-headed monster in the backfield since Jamal Charles. So because ever since Priest Holmes, like, he got hurt, like, we've always had two tailbacks back there that equally carry the ball over and over and over. Because we had Jamal Charles and along with Spencer Ware, I think, and then Spencer Ware is still there, and we picked up Carlos Hyde. So we are going to be.
And then Damian Williams is still there with Carlos Hyde. Dude, there's not. You can have a running back by committee. There's nothing wrong with that. So I don't understand it's not a big deal at all.
Yeah, like, I really feel like they're just trying to poke at one weak point on the team's offense, and that obviously is a weak point. Some breaking news that just came in, actually. Pac-Man is now he is retiring after 14 years in the NFL. So Adam Jones has retired from the NFL. My phone just blew up about it. So I just figured I'd let you guys know if you are not around your phones right now. And then the final topic that they had is Patrick Mahomes will hit his sophomore slump, and he will not be as efficient as he was last year. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, that's the thing, though. It could happen, but how much does it happen? He's not going to hit some sophomore slump where he's like 50% of himself. If Patrick Mahomes hits a slump and is like 85%, and of course, they may not have Tyreek Hill. Okay, so there may be games where the Kansas City's not lighting it up, but I don't see any sophomore slump. Dak Prescott had a sophomore slump, and the reason Dak Prescott had a sophomore slump was because the Cowboys didn't handle that Ezekiel Elliott situation with the suspensions, and the Cowboys' offensive line took a step back. They lost Tyron Smith. The offensive line was bad. So I don't see that happening here with Patrick Mahomes. Even if he does take a little step back, so what? Patrick Mahomes' little step back, what is he going to throw for 40 touchdowns instead of 50? I mean, so who cares? But I don't see any really drop off. This guy's amazing. He's a magician with the football. He should be playing in the Super Bowl if D4 doesn't line up offsides. Think about that for a second.
Keep on bringing that up, huh?
Yeah, I mean, no, because
I got
listen, even if I was a Kansas City Chiefs fan, I'd bring it up because it would sting me. Like, listen, I've got a lot of pain as a Cowboys fan, Spurs. Even though we've won a lot of championships, there's certain plays that Patrick Creighton not catching a football in 2007 divisional. If Patrick Creighton catches the football from Tony Romo, Eli Manning doesn't win a championship in 2007, and the Cowboys are on their way probably going to the Super Bowl in 2007. They don't lose to the Giants in the divisional.
Right.
So that right there sticks with me. Stuff like that. I mean, that's a fact. D4 doesn't line up offsides. The Kansas City Chiefs are in the Super Bowl. So I'm just telling you, the reason I bring it up, I'm telling you how close they were. Really should have been there. Patrick Mahomes should have been in the Super Bowl in his second year, first year starting. So that's how talented he is. So this sophomore drop on this sophomore jinx or sophomore slump or whatever it is, I don't see it happening. And if it does, it won't be dramatic. It won't be, he's only going to throw 15, 20 touchdowns. No, dude, it's still going to be 40 touchdowns.
So let me clarify the sophomore slump in my eyes. It is your second year in the league. So most of these sophomore slumps happen to these rookie quarterbacks that start their rookie year and then they go into their second year and they don't know how to prepare themselves in the offseason. They don't know how to do this. They don't know how to do that. Patrick Mahomes had Alex Smith in front of him his first year. So he learned how to be a pro from a pro's pro. Alex Smith, right. I was so mad when the Chiefs let him go, but he is a pro's pro. Unfortunately, I know if Alex Smith would have stayed at Kansas City, we would have not been in the position that we were last year. He is a game manager. He will not win you games, but he won't lose you games either. Patrick Mahomes will win you games.
He wins you games.
Yes. So
and even like the sophomore slump thing, Patrick Mahomes had 50 touchdowns and 12 interceptions last year.
Yeah.
Let me repeat that. 50 and 12. Is that incredible? That is incredible. So let's just say
Amazing.
sophomore slump. Let's just say sophomore slump. He's at 42 touchdowns and 15 interceptions.
And so people will be on him so bad, but he will still lead the league in touchdowns and still have a quote sophomore slump. But people need to understand that he learned how to be a professional from Alex Smith. He spent two full off seasons with Alex Smith teaching him the ropes. So he knows how to prepare by himself this offseason. He is not going to have a slump. He just like you said, he may not throw 50 touchdowns. He may have 42. He's still going to lead the league in touchdowns, in yards, offensive efficiency, whatever you need to know. You can call that a slump if you want, but the fact is it is not a slump. That is just where he is going to be. He is going to be between 40 and 50 touchdowns every season in his career. And that's just what it is. A slump for him is going to be 38 touchdowns in a year. So
yeah, I even think it'll be better than that. I think throwing 50 touchdowns. Even if he goes to 42, that's amazing.
Right. So, I mean, just think about that. 50 touchdowns in a season. That's record breaking almost. I think the record
only 12 interceptions.
Yeah.
That's a 4.7 to 1 interception ratio. That would be that's in Aaron Rodgers territory.
Yeah. Face the facts. He is going to be a great quarterback year in and year out. So Patrick Mahomes isn't going to keep the Chiefs out of the playoffs. The only thing that's going to keep the Chiefs out of the playoffs is possibly that defense. But that defense has been addressed. Not paying players to keep them. That has been addressed with the Frank Clark thing. We're going to pay our quarterback. We're going to pay our receivers. This team is going to stay intact for many, many years. Look for this Kansas City Chiefs team to be a dynasty in the next 5 or 6 years. Looking back, you'd be like, oh, in 2019, that dynasty started. They won 5 Super Bowls in 16 years. So just watch this happen. Watch this blow up. So you better jump on my bandwagon right now if you guys want to join, because we're not taking people after we win our first Super Bowl. So join now.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Kansas City could easily be in the Super Bowl. I mean, there's the Texans too. Matter of fact, right now
we'll talk to Texans next week.
My prediction is Texans Chiefs AFC Championship game. But the race is going to be who's going to win more games to get that game. Is it going to be at Arrowhead or at NRG Stadium? That's the big deal. I think Kansas City's going to have the edge there because. Man, the Texans division. I don't even see any of the teams.
It's solid. They're going to beat each other up a lot.
Yeah, I don't even see any of the teams going, less than 8-8.
Right.
I mean, and the Chiefs division's great too. I mean, you got to battle the Chargers, Broncos. I mean, it's the real deal too. You guys' division, the Chiefs division is outrageous as well. So
the Raiders are on the come up. The Broncos are always solid. The Broncos are always 8-8, 7-9, always. So.
I right now, if you gun to my head, and I haven't looked at it, so I mean, like I said, we're in May, but it would be like a Texans at Chiefs AFC Championship game. Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very good possibility because the Houstons are very, very solid. They added a lot of depth to that roster, and we'll definitely touch on them next week as well as playoffs start to the NBA playoffs start to wind down and football starts to ramp up. So that's when I get excited, really excited.
Right.
So, but guys,
Right.
as always, thank you for joining us. Marcus, any closing thoughts?
No, we'll just see what happens Saturday. We both have the Raptors winning Saturday. The Raptors better win Saturday because you don't want to play on Monday, then have to turn around and play on Thursday. Even though
Nope.
the Raptors will have home court advantage against the Warriors, but you want that 5 days rest. So Raptors winning on Saturday. That's what you have too, right?
That's
Yeah.
what I got.
Yeah.
And guys, as always, thank you for joining us. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll see you guys Monday afternoon. We're out. Happy Memorial Day, by the way.
Yep.